Whatever comes across your microphone, across your camera will be recorded in a public record. If you are not speaking, please remember to put yourself on mute. When you are ready to speak, simply unmute yourself, or if you're calling in, press *6, I believe, to unmute. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Pat to start the board meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Welcome everyone to our June board meeting. And at this time, we'll do a roll call.
Okay, since we do have both board and CEOs on here, I'm going to start with the board meeting, or the board, and then I will go ahead and do CEOs, but before the CEO, I will double check to make sure that I'm not missing anybody, so. Okay, for the board, Harold Billieu,
I'm here.
Kevin Binker,
Here.
Kevin Busher,
Present.
Jim Bolin,
Here.
Pat Click,
Here.
Dave Cole,
Yes.
Mike Conley,
Here.
Mike Conrad,
Here.
David Cox. Okay, band leads or Adam Flack for band. Okay, Tiffany Mackey,
Here.
Justin Martin, Mandy Martin, Josh McElravy, Patty Metzger,
Here.
Stacy Parr or Joe Michael for Stacy, Deacon Patient, John Perry,
Here.
Bruce Peters, Tom Robinson, Chuck Rose, Louis Ryder,
Here.
Denise Smith, Chris Stroll,
Here.
Kim Taylor,
Here.
Carol Tracy, Connie Waldrop, Jason Warfel,
Here.
John Widener. Okay, we have a quorum for board. Let me do the CEO's.
Okay, this is Debbie Smith. This is Debbie Smith. I forgot to say I was here.
Okay, I was getting ready to do CEO, so I will mark you down. Okay, Todd Beard. Jim Bolin, yes. Jim Brewer,
Here.
Dave Bolin,
Here.
Joe Gilliland, Dennis Graves, Dave McKay, John Perry, I've got you down. Nancy is here. Jeff Boyd,
Here.
Jennifer Wagner, and Jason Warfel, I got you down. Okay, we've got quorum there too, so.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. First order of business, we need a motion and a second for approval of the March 15th, 2021 meeting minutes. Can I have one, please?
Gerald will make the motion.
Thank you.
I will second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Anyone opposed? All right, moving right along. If anyone has a conflict of interest, we need to disclose that now. I'll give you about 5 seconds to do so. All right, outstanding. Okay, moving on to our first service provider report, CFS. Lori.
Thanks, Pat. A trade rapid response was held on Wednesday, April 21st for LSC Communications in Mattoon. DCEO has assisted with coordinating 2 sessions for employees impacted by the plant closure. About 500 invitation letters were sent out for the rapid response event. This was a virtual event, and we only had about 25 people that attended that, and most of those attending were customers already enrolled in our 1E grant. So we didn't get a whole lot of other customers from that rapid response. Elaine met with Shutt Sports in Salem. They are closing and plan to begin laying off in August or September of this year. And they just kind of discussed details of the closure and providing rapid response. And we did provide some rapid response packets per the company's request for about 100 employees who will be impacted by the closure. Lakeland, they were here and did some fiscal monitoring for us the week of March 29th. There was one finding, and corrective action has been taken for that. DCO, they also did some financial programmatic monitoring the week of May 3rd and the next week. And we had a soft monitoring exit, which was provided by DCO on the 27th of May. And they addressed some potential findings that required some corrective action. Some of those we were able to get marked off the list. We still do not have that final letter. We're still waiting on that from DCEO. The WIOA staff attended the WIOA Summit, April 27th and 28th. The 2-day summit was designed to provide guidance on service integration. On May 26th, a youth roundtable discussion was held with probation officers from our 13 county workforce area. Topics for this meeting included how to better serve the hard to serve youth in our communities, programs of services available to our youth, and how we can partner to most effectively serve our youth. The WIOA staff also attended the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals, the NADP annual conference. This was held virtually May 17th through the 19th. Professional development centered around excelling in a virtual environment, strategies for workforce professional self-care, fiscal responsibility and oversight, diversity and inclusion, and educating and training our future workforce. WIOA staff, they've been real busy preparing for that summer semester and are now preparing for fall semester with outreach to community colleges for recruitment and new customer enrollments across the board in adult dislocated worker and the youth program. All of our WIOA offices, they are open to the public now. The one stop in Effingham remains closed. CMS was in the center on June 9th for a walkthrough. Each center, they're being looked at individually in regards to safety, location, COVID cases, things of that nature. And security seems to be, high priority for them. Hopefully in the next month or so, we should hear a little bit more as to when, we can reopen. The Effingham Center, we are a tier 2 center. So that means, tier 1 office will open first. Hopefully by the time we get to open, we'll learn a little bit more from those offices already open, if there's any, problems, concerns, things like that. So we're looking forward, to finally getting the offices opened again. Staff will continue to attend IWP, the Illinois Workforce Partnership meetings, and the Performance Work Group Task Force meetings held monthly. We have the Meet with CEFS WIOA Representative Days scheduled in July at area colleges. We will be at Cluthy here in Effingham on July 21st. We'll be at Lakeland, main campus, on the 28th. We've got some tentative dates set up, the 27th at OCC, and then Lincoln Trail, July 20th. And we're still working with Kaskaskia to get something set up down there. And we're still recruiting, looking for youth, especially the out-of-school youth age 16 through 24 for work experience. So if you know any youth in the area, if you have any referrals or, would need any information, contact one of our offices or you can give me a call. As of the end of May, we have 253 customers receiving career and training services through all program. We've exited 168 customers this program year, and that brings us, the total number served to date is 421.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you very much, Lori. And then to more on what we do, Jamie, would you talk about some success stories?
Yes, so in your board packet, as well as an email that went out earlier this morning, if I remember right, we did send out the success story booklet. We sent it out digitally. If you would like a hard copy, let us know, but we did not print any out because it was just easier to send them out via email this year. We're not going to vote on them within this meeting right here, but if you could have your selection, your choice sent to me either through the doodle poll. I'm trying to make this work right, but it might not. Either through the doodle poll that was in the email, or if you would just like to type in the name and email it to me, feel free to do that too. Or if you want to call me and let me know, or text me, whatever works best for you. But we had some really great stories in there. We had more than we had last year. So please take the time this week to read through those stories and send me your favorite one. It would be wonderful if you could have those sent to us by 4 p.m. on Thursday, June 24th. So we have some time to do some tallies and have an idea before we're out for the weekend. But if some trickle in over the weekend, I won't be too upset with you. I will go ahead and go right into the fiscal agent report since it's all on the same slideshow. So looking at formula funding for plan year 21 and comparing it to plan year 20, at the federal level, it's been pretty steady. However, the state took a 9% cut, and then LWIA 23 took a almost 21% cut. Last year, we received 3.2, and this year we are at 2.5. I have those numbers written down somewhere, but they just keep escaping my head. So that's about a $700,000 decrease. Not the worst one we've had, but it's never fun to have a decrease. Looking at the funding streams and the where it's all going, we have about $799,000 for adult. We have $894 for dislocated worker and $863 for youth. This one's kind of small on your screen, but this is just comparing each funding stream, plan year 20 to plan year 21, and the percent of change. So in youth, we've lost 21%. In adult, we've lost 23%. And in dislocated worker, it's down 17% for that 21% overall decrease. Looking at all the other LWIAs across the state, just about everyone else got decreased as well. So the average loss was about 18% for each LWIA across the state. We are not the only ones that suffered this decrease. We're all kind of in the same boat, but it's, like I said, never fun. So when looking at the grant recipient budget as a percentage of the overall formula total, we are up from last year. It was 11.4%, and this year it's 14% of the budget. We were able to decrease the grant recipient budget by $150, but just because the lump sum is so much smaller, it looks like that we've increased it, but just in comparing it as a percentage, it's gone up. Well, we were able to save some money in some lines, and Debbie's going to go over more of those details later on in her budget presentation. So then just looking at plan year 20 and what our status is. As Lori talked about, we did have a soft exit conference for our programmatic and fiscal monitoring that occurred on May 27th. We have not yet received the final findings letter. Because this was done digitally as opposed to in person, they had kind of switched up the method of how they did it, and that's why we got this soft exit. Whereas when the monitoring is done in person, we normally get some check-ins throughout the day. Hey, this could have been done a little bit better. You forgot to check this box, and things could be fixed right there on site. Without that ability, they're kind of replacing that with that soft exit conference where they go over everything and we could, like Lori said, talk a little bit more, explain some things, understand what's going on. And so a lot of the items, I think there were 11 items in that soft exit letter. There, at least 6 or 7 are likely to come off of that. So as soon as we get the final findings letter, we will be sure to share that with you all. The plan year 20 expenditure obligation and service levels, we're not hitting that 80% threshold for youth and adults. So DCEO has been doing a fairly routine check-in with us every few weeks. So on May 12th, we had a meeting with them, and again on June 8th, just to let them know what we're doing, what's changed since the last time we've talked, any new innovative ideas we're coming up with that they can share with other LWIAs, because again, we're not alone in this fight. A lot of other areas are experiencing the same difficulties we are. I don't know that we have another one on the books quite yet, but I'm sure that we'll be hearing from DCO here soon for some updates. For Plan Year 20 youth obligations, there is the option to apply for a waiver for the 80% threshold, and it's due on July 20th. We are going for it. In fact, I believe we meet later on this week to finalize the application and to get it submitted ahead of time to see if it's not a guaranteed approval, but that would, if we are granted that waiver, that would give us the option to still be able to try to spend that money that we weren't able to spend this year into the next plan year, where we're hopeful, we're optimistic that things will get a little bit better and we will be able to serve more people more easily. And then looking at the plan year 20 formula funds, we did complete a modification to include a cushion of $74,000. At our last quarterly meeting, we were not sure of the exact dollar amount. We had estimated at 50,000. Well, it was nice to have it come out at 74,000, knowing that we were going to have some cuts for the next plan year. So we submitted that modification on May 13th, and that went into dislocated worker funding stream. On April 27th and 28th, the LWIA Summit was held virtually. The theme was service integration, collaboration, and innovation. All of the workshops and the keynote speaker and everything was recorded. For those of you who have called in and cannot see the screen, it is ilworkforceacademy.com/WIOA-summit-2021-live-sessions. If you would like to review those recorded workshops, or if you didn't just copy that down as quickly as your little fingers could, just shoot me an email. I'll get you that link individually. I believe I also included it in the monthly newsletter, so make sure that you're reading that monthly newsletter too. Some of the workshops included developing and sustaining a regional business service team, using TPM strategies to leverage industry sectors for youth employment and mobility, and creatively engaging the community. Plus, there were a whole lot of others that I did not attend. You had a selection. There were about 4 offered for each time slot, and you could only be in one place at one time. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. Another cool thing that has just come up is Lakeland College has come out with a new section of their return to work plan. Since the state of Illinois in our area has gone to phase 5, that allows the college to open back up for business as usual. And visitors no longer have to do a special form and check in at a guard shack and do all kinds of unnecessary things. We are open, anyone can come and go. they do ask that you kind of screen yourself, and if you're not feeling well, don't come to campus. So classes will be offered in several modalities for summer and fall. So that includes in-person, that still includes some hybrid, asynchronous courses, still includes online. So hopefully that will get some people back to school. The college is still requiring masks for those who are unvaccinated, but the college is not requiring students or staff to get vaccinated. They are just highly encouraging it. So if you guys are in the area and you want to check out the new Workforce Development Center on campus, please feel free to come on by. Hopefully, we will be able to have some sort of open house in the near future, but until then, you can just stop in anytime, except Fridays, because we're still closed on Fridays. And then 2021 IWP Award Celebration. The only information I've received on this is that it is tentatively scheduled for September 2nd. I don't know if they're doing an in-person thing or what, but there's more information to come. So I would probably include that in one of those monthly newsletters. So keep your eye out for that as well. That concludes my fiscal agent report. So does anyone have any questions?
All right, hearing none, then we'll go on to our committee reports. Mike Conrad, Oversight and Planning.
Oversight and Planning met June 17th at noon. We went over the fiscal agent reports that Debbie gave us and approved those. We also went through some training program certifications and one-stop operator extensions with Tony, which I'm sure he'll go over later. And we did go over the fiscal year 21 proposed budget with Debbie, and we approved all those pending the board's final approval.
All right, great. Thank you, Mike. Tiffany.
Yes, Youth Committee met this morning at 10 a.m. We welcomed a new member to the youth group, and that's Mike Conley from Kaskaskia College. We reviewed and approved the minutes from the March meeting. We updated our committee members on a youth roundtable. Lori mentioned that briefly, that Crystal, Lori Jennings, and myself facilitated with probation officers. So it was a very targeted kind of information session, recruitment session for those officers. We had 4 counties represented, and Lori has gotten referrals out of that particular meeting. So we're going to continue that model. So if any of you know of a really targeted audience that you think we need to have a conversation with, please let us know. Lori reported on activities, programs, and performance measures to the group. And then we're just getting excited to possibly meet again in person in September, and we're looking for new resources, new guest speakers to bring to this particular committee. So if you know of anybody that you think the group would be interested in learning more about, please let us know. And our next meeting, again, hopefully in person, will be September 20th.
All right, great. Thank you, Tiffany. Kevin, Consortium.
This is Chris. I'm going to give the update for the consortium committee today. We held our meeting at 11 o'clock this morning. We heard from Jamie on the restart of the business service team. The team is meeting monthly. The meetings are being facilitated by Freddie Buckingham from IDES. The group is really becoming more reacquainted with all of the services and programs that we have. So we're taking some time to get to know each one of the programs, and then going to be looking at going out to do a roundtable similar to what we did with healthcare back in early 2019. Tony covered referrals, MOU billing, and MOU budget. He asked for the referral numbers and reminded the committee of the importance of reporting referrals. MOU billing and budget will likely stay about the same as last year. There will be security at the one stop, but IDES will be covering that at our one stop here in Effingham. Lori reported on the one stop reopening in Effingham. The Effingham office is a tier 2. There was a visit by CMS last week. They're looking at the location, looking at some different criteria at each location so that we can be able to open the one stop in Effingham and keep all of the employees, staff, and anyone visiting the facility safe. Partners did reporting on summer and fall, including offices being open, classes that are in session right now, grant writing, and budget information and finalization. Our next meeting is also September 20th and hopefully in person, and who knows where, right? That's all for the consortium committee.
All right, great. Thank you, Chris. I was unable to attend the executive committee, but is the VP available?
Yes, Pat. We met following the Oversight and Planning Committee as well last Thursday. Reviewed the minutes, approved the minutes. Basically, the only item on our agenda that we really need to approve was the proposed budget, fiscal year budget, which most of us had joined the Oversight and Planning Committee meeting to where Debbie had presented that budget, so we didn't make her go through that a second time. We did vote to go ahead and recommend that the budget be approved with a $150 reduction in last year's budget for the next fiscal year, and to be approved by the whole board. But that was basically all we did. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. I need a motion and a second to approve those reports.
This is Kim. I can make the motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Mike Conley, second.
Thank you both. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? I'll give you a couple seconds. Hearing none, we'll move on to the budget approval. Debbie.
Okay, I sent out the budget last week, and I will just go over a few of the items that had significant increases or decreases to it, just to sort of go over what we sort of discussed at the planning and oversight. The first two lines, that is our salaries, and I budgeted for 2%, and Lakeland just approved that in the last week or so, that the 2% is what they're going at, so we should be right on board for that one. The medical benefits, even though it looks like we haven't spent as much through April, basically for this current year, we budgeted for 5%, but we did not have an increase, so that's why it looks like there's a significant difference. But we did budget for a 6% increase for next year. Plus, Tony, his son is on a separate plan, and so at the end of this year, he's going to see if it's better off having him be on the Lakeland. So I did budget for that just to be on the safe side. If you look at the publications and dues line, that one increased by $6,000 because if you've noticed in Jamie's monthly newsletter, we have started doing a podcast. And so that one, once we get past that 6-month contract, if we decide to renew it, it is $6,000 for an additional year. So that's where that $6,000 comes into play. The other materials and supplies, even though we don't have anything through April, in May, we did have some costs for that, for some outreach information that got printed up and is ready for board members and CEOs and just community members in general to give out about our services. So we did increase that slightly just in case we need to replenish it for next year. So then one of the good lines, the rental facilities, we were able to decrease that. Last year, whenever we done the budget, we weren't for sure with us moving out here to campus and a new building. We didn't know what to expect for rent. So we made sure that there was just in case that we had enough in case it did go up. Luckily, it did not. And then once we did move out here as of July 1st, because we have less space than what we did have, it's actually decreased. So we were able to take that line item down. And then the other one, the other utilities, that one I just took off of the budget altogether because it was for the DSL line at the Effingham One Stop. We were just basically a middleman. And so staff just took over the billing for that. That way, if they know that they need to increase speed or whatever, they can do that without having to go through us. So overall, we had a decrease of $150. It's not a lot, but whenever you only have 3 people on the staff, it's sort of hard to make too big of waves. So does anybody have any questions about the budget?
Okay, hearing none, we have to do a roll call vote to approve the budget. So thanks for everybody's patience while we do that. Go ahead, Debbie.
Do we need a motion and a second first?
I'll make a motion.
I'll make a
Jim.
motion.
Who was it?
Who was that again? I'm sorry.
Jim Bolin, I'll make a motion. First or second, whatever you want.
Okay, I've got Jim down, and who was the other person that spoke up?
I'll second. This is Chris.
Okay, roll call for the board. Gerald Billiard,
Yes.
Kevin Binker,
Yes.
Kevin Busher,
Yes.
Jim Bolin,
Yes.
Pat Click,
Yes.
Dave Cole,
Yes.
Mike Conley,
Yes.
Mike Conrad,
Yes.
David Cox, Dan Leeds or Adam Flack, Tiffany Mackey,
Yes.
Justin Martin, Mandy Martin, Josh McElravy, Patty Metzger,
Yes.
Stacy Carr or Jill Michael, Deacon Patient, John Perry,
Yes.
Bruce Peters, Tom Robinson, Chuck Rose, Louis Ryder, Denise Smith,
Yes.
Chris Stroll,
Yes.
Kim Taylor,
Yes.
Carol Tracy, Connie Waldrop, Jason Warfel,
Yes.
John Widener. Okay,
All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate your patience while we have to do these roll calls as a matter of business. Moving right along, one-stop certification, Tony.
Pat, we really don't need that on the agenda anymore. We left it on there because we weren't sure if it was required this year. And to my knowledge, right now, it is not required because our one-stop has been closed for the entire year.
Sounds great. Moving along, election of next year's officers.
Tiffany, you want to take that one?
I was afraid you would say that. I don't know the exact verbiage, but I'll see if I can remember how to do this from last year. The nominating committee met and discussed possible nominations for president and vice president of the board. And do I need to ask for any nominations from the floor first for president or vice president?
Well, I think you can do it either way. I mean, the nominating committee is going to nominate the 2 that you
Okay.
pick.
All
And
right.
then after that, will be any open
right.
nominations.
Thank you. See, I need Tony to do this. So the nomination committee would like to present the slate of officers as president, Pat Click, and Vice President Gerald Billieu. And do I have any other nominations from the floor?
Anyone? Come on, anyone?
I noticed Pat does not have video today, so.
I make a motion that we put Pat and Gerald back in. Jim Bolin.
Second, this is Chris Stroll.
All right, I guess we have a motion and a second. Do I need to ask for a vote since Pat is
Yeah.
has a conflict of interest maybe? All right, so all those approve the nominations for president and vice president, say aye.
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 Anybody but Pat opposed, say nay. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for your service.
Yeah, well, thank you for the nomination, and Gerald and I did negotiate for a triple increase in our salaries, so we appreciate the board going along with that. So we'll look for those checks in the mail, okay? Not everyone laughed at the same time. Okay. Next year's meeting schedule. Jamie, do you have that? To fill those dates out, or?
Sure. I believe that was included in your board material. Next meeting, September 20th. Then we have 13th of December. Then looking into 2022, we have March 21st. But looking at June of 2022, our meeting is June 20th. With the recent passing of Juneteenth being recognized as a federal holiday, that may interfere with that date. I'm not fully versed in if it's going to be recognized on June 19th, or if they're going to go ahead and have us recognize it on June 20th, meaning a lot of facilities will be closed. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, so we're going to leave it as June 20th for now, but we will keep an eye on the situation. Once we get a better understanding, we will adjust as necessary, and we will definitely keep you guys informed, probably through that monthly newsletter that you guys should check out every single month.
Okay, outstanding. Moving along towards the end here, is there any other business to report, or any board member? Please use this as an opportunity to share anything going on in your community or any concerns you have. I'll leave the floor open for a minute. Go ahead.
Right before we do that, I'd love to hear from everybody about what's going on. We do need to have a motion on next year's meeting schedule.
Okay, sorry about that. I need a motion to approve next year's meeting schedule.
Gerald will make the motion.
I can second it. This is Denise Smith.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, sorry about that, Jimmy. All right, anyone have anything to share going on in their community?
This is Debbie Smith, Marion County Board Chair. And I understand that someone was trying to get a hold of me. Last month, we had nominated a replacement for Chuck Rose. And her name is Deborah Reed, R-E-E-D, and she's on the phone at this point in time as well.
Okay.
You let me know if you need anything for her.
Okay. Thank you, and welcome, and thanks for your willingness to serve on the board. We appreciate that, and we'll be in touch with you to make sure we can educate you on all of the wonderful things that our group does, and how you can be an active board member. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Anyone else need to share anything going on in their community? Okay, not hearing any. You know, I know we're all dealing with different things in our communities as far as workforce issues and getting people back to work. It just doesn't end. We still need to keep referring people and keeping, especially youth, in the pipeline. There's things are starting to pick back up in most areas of Area 23. So please keep referring. Please keep asking questions. Please keep our staff busy with potential opportunities. You never know which one might be fruitful for someone that's looking to make a change or looking to upward mobilize and get back in the workforce in a different capacity. I appreciate everyone's willingness to serve on the board, and still wish health and happiness to everyone. And looks like in September we're going to be meeting each other again face to face after a very long extended absence that nobody anticipated. So we'll look forward to seeing everyone then. Jamie or any other staff have anything to say?
Okay, yes, I have one other thing that I did forget to talk about in the fiscal agent report. Board recertification for everyone is this year. So we will be sending out, most likely from Tony, paperwork for doing board recertification. Is there anything else I need to add?
No, I think that's about it. We do it every other year. I think it's every other year, it might be every third year, but everyone is gonna get an email from me with an appointment/reappointment form. And the only thing I really need you to do is when you do get it, just check it for accuracy. Change anything that needs to be changed, if your phone number, your email, and whatever is changed. And sign, I think it's section 15. But when you do get it, I ask that you do not date it. The state is very picky about the dates and when people sign and when the CEO sign after you and when it is turned in. It all has to be done within 37.5 days and 4 hours or something. I don't know, it's silly. So just when you do get it, please look it over for accuracy, sign in section 15, do not date, and scan and send back to me. And you can call me, get a hold of me if you have any questions or have any trouble opening up the document. We've had some issues with that in the past. So just look forward to that. It's going to be coming, I'm going to guess in maybe last of August. I'll probably start sending them out then. So just be on the lookout for it. That's all I got. Thanks.
Also, as far as meeting, we are very hopeful that we will be able, I'm really confident we will be meeting in person in September. Just where exactly that occurs is still not decided. If we are able to do it at CEFS, we will likely have a hybrid type meeting where we have the technology to teleconference and have some people there in person. If we're unable to complete the meeting at CEFS, we have to go somewhere else. It's just going to depend on the type of technology that's available. We may not have the hybrid option. However, that seems to be the direction that the IWIB is going, and most of the other LWIAs across the state, the ones that are opening back up for in-person meetings in the fall, are opting for hybrid. And I really like that style. I think that makes the meetings more accessible for everyone. At this time, we're still thinking that it will be at the traditional time, which maybe we've forgotten. I know I've never been to one of these meetings at a traditional time, but it was in the evening, the afternoon, evening, and over dinner time. So there might even be some food, maybe we can all eat together again. Not sure, but I'm looking forward to it. So that as well, keep your eyes out in the monthly newsletter for updates on when, where, how we're gonna make all that work come September.
All right. Well, sounds great. Thank you everyone for attending. CEOs, stay on the line for your next roll call and the continuation of the meeting. However, we need a motion and a second to adjourn our board meeting. Motion, someone?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it, Gerald.
All right, thank you. Well, so our board meeting will be adjourned, and then CEOs, stay online for yours. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Just a second and then.
Welcome everyone to the CEO meeting. And we will start out with the roll call.
Okay, I've got most of you, but just in case anybody has joined in the meantime, Todd Beard, I've got Jim Bolin. I've got
Yep.
Jim. I've got Dave Bowling, Joe Gilliland,
Yes.
okay, Dennis Graves. Okay, Dave McCabe. Then I've got John Perry, I've got Nancy Purdy, got Debbie Smith, I've got Jeff Boyd, Jennifer Wagner.
Yeah.
Jennifer Wagner, are you on? And then I've got Jason Warfel. Okay, I've got everybody.
All right. We have the numbers to-
Yes, I believe last time we were able, I think Jennifer Wagner was on and I was able to get her introduced possibly, but Joe Gilliland was not on and he is a new member of the CEO Consortium. Joe, welcome. I'm very pleased to have you on the line today. You come from Clay County. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the group so that we can know you a little bit better?
To know me better?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I don't know. I am serving on the Clay County Board in my second term. I'm on the LWIA CEOs, and I've been, I don't know exactly what you want to hear now, but I'm just sort of a regular guy. I have been casting about for someone to be a board member from this area. I have 3 or 4 feelers out right now, but I can get more into that later on. So that's all I can tell you.
That's great. Thank you. I appreciate it and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, the item number 3 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And we need a motion to approve.
I make the motion, David, Crawford County.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second Jim Brewer, Long County.
thank you. All those in favor, please signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing and hearing none. Number 4, is there any conflict of interest that anyone needs to disclose before we move on? Seeing and hearing none. Number 5 is the signatory authority update.
So, as far as the signatory authority update for plan year 20, the budget modification and certification for that cushion of 74,000 was signed by Greg Nuxel. The de-obligation for our COVID 1E layoff aversion grant of $11,000 we had to de-obligate. Greg signed for that as well. He also signed for plan year 21 conflict of interest and mandatory disclosure so that we are able to go forward with accepting any fiscal year 22 grants and funding. And then finally, he has also signed for the trade grant for the LSC closure, and that was in the amount of about $50,000. We anticipate sometime this week, hopefully, he will also be signing for the new formula grant that should be coming out any day now, but that will most likely show up on next quarter's meeting.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Okay, number 6, the budget approval. We will need a motion to approve the budget that was approved at the board meeting.
Motion to approve the budget as presented, Jim Brewer, Lawrence County.
Jeff Boyd, Edgar County, seconds.
Thank you. All those in favor? Oh, I have to do roll call. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, I'll do roll call for this one. Okay, Todd Beard. Jim Boland. Jim Brewer.
Yes.
Dave Boland.
Yes.
Joe Gilliland.
Yes.
Dennis Graves. Dave McKay. John Perry.
Yes.
Nancy Purdy.
Yes.
Debbie Smith.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Jeff Boyd.
Aye.
Jennifer Wagner. And Jason Warple.
Yes.
Okay, it is passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7, probation office referrals. Tony?
All right, the only thing I really want to say about this, Lori and Tiffany, and I think Chris said in the board meeting how they had that youth roundtable with the probation offices. And we invited all 13 counties, however, only 4 counties showed up. So I wanted to bring it up to your guys' attention since you are on the county board. And I believe all probation offices are run through the counties and the sheriff's departments. So it might help us out if you could at least mention it to somebody that can mention it to somebody else or whatever, to get your counties involved, your county probation offices, at least give them an hour to sit down with Lori and Chris and Tiffany and talk about our programs, because that's the one thing that we are definitely hurting on is recruiting youth. And at 13 counties, we had 4 show up. Every one of those counties said, we have never, ever heard of you. Why? And I'm not going to place the blame anywhere, but we're the best kept secret. We don't want it to be that way. So being the leaders in your communities and in your counties, I would really encourage you to get with somebody at the sheriff's office and the probation office and try to get them in communication with Lori. We really, really need you to be a voice for this. And you sit on the county board. So you have the authority to go and say, hey, you know what? You need to go do this. Even if it's one meeting, go do this, please. I guarantee they will go, well, who are you and what is this doing and how come I haven't heard of you? And I mean, then they get referrals going. I mean, it's got to start with you. So I want to mention that. It was a little disappointing turnout. We only had 4 counties show up. So that being said, please go to them, tell them to get a hold of us.
This is Joe Gilliland in Clay County. Is there a direct number for Lori that the probation officer could call?
Yes, you got something to write with?
Yes, I do.
Okay, her area code.
Got a crayon right here.
Okay. Her area code is 217.
Okay.
342.
Okay.
2193. And her extension is 113.
Okay. Area 217-342-2193. Extension 113.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And they apparently did have some referrals from the 4 counties that did show up, the 4 probation officers who did come. So it sounds like a great program if we can just let people know we exist and what we can do. Item number 8, the board attendance report and reappointments.
Yeah, so in your packet, the board attendance was included. And it looks like attendance is doing much better. In the counties where attendance is not doing great, those are counties where we do need to get new board members. They have expressed the desire to be removed from the board, so we need to get replacements. Joe Gilliland, I thank you so much for your efforts in trying to source someone for Clay County. If there's anything that you need from us to help any of those few people kind of make a decision, please let me know. I'll do whatever I can to try to help that go a little bit more smoothly for you. Then we're also looking, at Lawrence County and Richland County. Marion County, thank you for, it looks like we do have Deb Reed, who we are gonna do an orientation with tomorrow. So that's another one down. Like I said, at the end of the board meeting, we are coming up for recertification this year. Tony is going to be sending out information towards the end of August. Let's just make sure that that information is filled out completely and promptly and returned to us soon, so that we can have all our ducks in a row and finish out recertification on time in September. If you guys have any questions or concerns about trying to find new board members, please reach out to us. We are glad to help in any way we can, but do understand that you guys know your counties and know the people in your counties better than we do. So we rely on you heavily to source the people who are interested, and then we will do the best we can to get them oriented and get them on board and ready to go as a board member for us. So just reach out and keep doing the good things that you're doing, and hopefully we'll get some new board members in here soon. Do you have anything to add to that, Tony?
Nope.
Awesome.
Thank you. On item number 9, next year's meeting schedule, as you heard in the board meeting, the next meeting we hope is going to be in person, September the 20th, location to be determined, followed by the December 13th meeting, then the March 21st, and then most likely, but tentatively, June 20th. And item 10, any old or new business?
Do we need to do a
Oh,
motion to approve?
yeah, I certainly need to. Okay, I need a motion to approve next year's schedule.
I'll motion to approve. It's Joe in Clay County.
Thank you. And a second?
Crawford
Debbie
County,
Smith.
Dave Folling from Crawford County will second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I heard about 3, so it's hard that are nay. Hearing, seeing none, that passes. Now, any old or new business anyone wants to bring up?
This is Jim Boland. I got kicked off the phone. And did you guys do the budget approval vote, roll call?
Yes.
And I was kicked off during that time, so I'll go ahead and say aye on that too.
Thank you. We'll include you. Okay, just one thing I wanted to comment about is the former Consolidated Communications corporate office downtown Mattoon is a 5-6-story building that is being used. I don't know if everyone's heard about that, for youth training, and different programs are being kicked around for area schools, not just for Mattoon or Coles County, but several counties are looking at it apparently. And for instance, a student who maybe, let's say, is in Marshall or another county, obviously they can't come for an hour and then get back to their own school. So they might be for like half a day program or a full day program, 1 day a week. Programs that are closer might be, an hour or 2 of the day, and then they go back to their own school for the rest of the day. There are, and you probably are more familiar with it than I am, really.
Not much more, no.
But there's culinary arts, and there's I believe a beautician. There's what are some of the?
I've heard radio, TV, like kind of like YouTube podcasting, communications type, culinary. I think there's something with IT. So That sticks out because what they're going to do is the culinary is going to have a restaurant at the top floor, I think. And then IT is going to run their point of sale system. So they're even going to work together and have this work-based learning type thing going on. I think HVAC as well. I think one of the heavy supporters from industry was HVAC. That's all that's popping in my mind right now.
I didn't bring my notes from the education committee meeting with the ROE, but it sounds wonderful. And it's finally providing some training, vocational training in the high school level. So, you might be aware of this in your own counties where your students from the high school in your counties might be able to be involved. So if you talk to anybody from the school system, I'm sure they're all aware of it, but you might just want to be aware of this.
This is similar to the Effingham Regional Career Academy that is in development for in Effingham near the Kluge Center. The main difference is going to be that the ERCA is focused not only on high school students, but also incumbent workers. Whereas Mattoon, it seems to be focused solely on high school students. But we're hoping that there won't be like competition between those two entities, that they will be able to work collaboratively, and whatever's not offered at one may be offered at the other. But overall, they're pretty similar, and it's really cool to see that this is kind of this new wave coming in where we're getting the students even younger interested in career and technical education and getting them prepared for the workforce before they even get their high school diploma.
And apparently Lakeland College is quite involved with this program in Mattoon. Any public comment? I guess that was my closing remarks. So everybody, I usually say be safe going home, but have a great day. Do I need a motion to adjourn? Okay, I do. So someone want to make a motion to adjourn, please?
This is Jason for Jasper County. I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second,
Jim Boland, second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Board meeting, we never dog oppose. So, so all right, thank you so much.
Thank you
See
all.
in
This is
September.
good to kind of
Okay.
see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Find out more about what's going on.